Hi, students, and welcome. We're going to take a look at the movie Redskin. I'm sure that when you were watching the movie Redskin, you kind of wondered what was going on in some places. The cards with the dialogue, they're called intertitles. Well, the intertitles are sometimes a little bit difficult to understand. So I thought what we would do is go through the movie and try to understand some of the more difficult to understand intertitles. Now, the music that you're hearing here at the beginning of Redskin is not the original music that was created by Zameshnik, the composer. It's not the original. Here's the original. So Zameshnik wrote some music, and then he had someone come in and sing along with it. And that was not a very popular decision. So when they restored this film, they decided, oh, okay, well, let's take Zameshnik's original music and music notes and create a new music track. All right, so here at the beginning, we've got a list of the players. Wingfoot is played by Richard Dix, who is a rather famous actor of the time. Tully Marshall is also a famous actor of the time. He plays Navajo Jim. One thing that I'd like to point out that maybe is going to surprise you is that none of these major actors is actually an Indian. They are not Native Americans. Let's see. Actually, Noble Johnson is African American, the guy who plays Pueblo Jim. And the chief and the medicine man, they are, I think, European actors. And Richard Dix was American, as well as Corn Blossom, which I think is kind of a shame because the movie honors the native tradition so much. So we start off in Arizona, the land of the sky and the Indian, the native, right? And look at this beautiful dawn. At Chelan, the only evidence of civilization was a trading post. Now, this is kind of an interesting thing. I'm not sure how to pronounce this. I'm going to say Chelan, but it could be Shelan, because the place at which they shot this film was called Canyon de Chelly, and it was spelled Cheely. So Canyon de Chelly. So, let's just call it Chelan, okay? And it says the only evidence of civilization was a trading post, which is not really a fair thing to say. The only evidence of civilization in the eyes of the white man was this trading post run by a white guy who knew the Navajo people pretty well. And we see the trading post, and the first person we see is a major character in the story named Navajo Jim. And he's called Navajo Jim not because he's Navajo, but because he was the post's first licensed trader, and he had it for 30 years against sun and sand and savages. Savage is a word that's often used to describe Native Americans. It's not a very good word. You could see that Jim is not actually a crack shot at this. Okay. And the women, oh, it's so funny. Oh, it's just so cute. Now we have this beautiful scene here. Again, this is in Canyon de Chelly National Monument today. You can see in the background here the ancient ruins of the Anasazi people who came before even the Navajo. These are the carvings and such that those people made a long time ago. And so this is a beautiful setting. The Navajo are pastoral people. They graze sheep, rams, and they're nomads. As we see later, they don't have fixed housing. So we see Navajo Jim first. Next we see the medicine man, Chahi the medicine man, talking with Chief's son, saying, "Someday you will be called to lead your Navajo people." And he's pointing at this rug, and you think, well, why is he pointing at the rug? And he's saying, "Follow the ways of the Navajo. The crooked path of the white man is the way of snakes and jackals." And that's an important word I want you to remember. Snake is always a symbol of evil, and a jackal is an animal like a wolf or a coyote. It's a dangerous animal. It's a predator, an animal that preys on weak animals. And so, calling the white man a snake or a jackal is a tremendously big insult. Now notice that he's pointing at the rug, and then we have this beautiful slow dissolve into an English book. What is the significance of this? Well, it's beautiful when you think about it. You see, he's not just having a conversation or telling a story to Chief's son, but he's pointing at the text. You see, this is the written record on the rug. I think that's a very interesting point for us. You've got the medicine man pointing at the blanket while he gives this advice to young Wingfoot. What we're discovering here is that the rug tells a story. It is a text to the Navajo people, just as a book is a text that tells a story to native speakers of English. Okay, and the next two titles here set up the backstory for young Wingfoot. First, we learn that his mother learned English. That was your mother's book of the white man's songs, and she could read them. And your mother, if she were here now, if old Chahi had let me call the white doctor when you were born, she would still be here now. So these two intertitles set up a major conflict for Wingfoot, the chief's son. Wingfoot, already he knows that the ancient Navajo ways are not perfect. If the medicine man had been wise enough to call the white man for help, but the medicine man is revealed to be kind of a stubborn Oji-chan. So this is an important point at the beginning. The grandmother's so cute! And here she is weaving a rug. Oh, here comes Dad. Uh-oh. Horses. Uh-oh, it's the evil white man. And here comes Dad. Quick, hide. It's the white man from the school again. So they're going to hide the son. They've been doing this for a couple of years. Now, this white man right here is known as an Indian agent. It was kind of a government post. It was the Indian agent's job to find the local children and bring them to the boarding school so that they would be educated in the ways of the white man. And Grandma here is pretending, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't speak your language. I don't know. And Ba-chan's happy. Yay! But it doesn't last for very long. Here Oh, look how much the grandma really loves the grandson. It's so sweet. But it doesn't last for very long. Now, over here we've got the medicine man talking with the chief, No Tani. And of course they don't want the chief's son to go off. I'm sorry, Grandma, but you'll all be proud of him when he comes back to you. We're gonna civilize him. Oh, he should have been here in school 2 years ago. I will take it, my responsibility. And so Navajo Jim says, let him go, No Tani. Look at me. Where'd I be now without my education? So, the word education instead of education is a real good joke for the audience. If anyone mispronounces the word education by saying education, it means they're not really very educated. You're too smart to make us bring out the troops again. This is a very severe threat for the white man to give to Chief No Tani. Hey, do what we tell you, or we'll bring the soldiers out, and it's not going to be good for you guys. And look at how good the actor is here. He's like disgusted, but okay, you win. Okay. So I really like the subtle acting of this chief. The chief, I think, is one of the better actors in the movie. Go with the white man, but come back to me, an Indian. So here we've got the whole first scene set up. Now, it was very common. Remember, Arizona, this whole Arizona area, Arizona had become a state in 1912. It was the responsibility of the U.S. government to see to it that all the kids got public education. Indian kids, they weren't sent to the regular public schools that educated white kids. Instead, they were sent to a dormitory, and at that dormitory, they had to strip away all elements of their native culture. They couldn't speak their native language. They had to speak English. They learned prayers. It was a way for the American government to take their culture away from them. It's a real shameful moment in American history. Oh, look at this. We're going to change you into some nice clothes. Wingfoot, this is Corn Blossom, a Pueblo girl. Oh, Navajo hate Pueblo. And I love the little girl's expression here. She goes, oh yeah? Like that. So she's so sweet. And you can see there's obviously some kind of romance thing going on between the Indian scout white man, and I guess she's not just the teacher, but the leader of the school. Pueblo Jim, you're going to go with him and do what he says. He's your monitor. Monitor was like a senpai system, a mentor. And it was really common in American and British education in the 1800s. The monitor system was kind of disappearing by the early 20th century. And you're reminded, young man, we'll have no tribal wars, Pueblo or Navajo. You're all equal here. Which, oh, yeah, that sounds really nice, but actually what it means is that each of you will have to get rid of your individual identity and become more like the white man. Here's this man who says, yosh, yosh, son. Now, young feller, we'll change this Navajo junk for a nice suit of blue denim. Well, how would you feel if, somebody said, we'll take off that kimono and we'll put you in a nice dress for white women? That would just be like, hidoi, He doesn't want to hear this. He's going to resist, of course. So we see him fighting about it. And what happens? Look, all the kids are in uniforms. All the kids are wearing hats. All the kids got their haircuts. All the girls have a little bob cut. And the boys had their hair cut and combed nicely it's terrible that these kids are not allowed to speak their native language anymore. They're not allowed to wear their native clothes, and they have to cut their hair to conform to the school policy. Well, cutting the hair of a Native American is really a big deal. There was something spiritual about the Native haircuts. So it's really a shame this kind of treatment happened. And this is based on real events. There were schools that were quite removed from where the natives lived. Instead of having a school for the Navajo and a school for the Pueblo and a school for the Hopi and so on, they took all the natives and made them go to one boarding school that was as far away as possible from their families, so they couldn't have any interaction. And this way, they could be brainwashed into becoming good Americans. And this is the ultimate insult. Wingfoot, salute the flag. You know, in America, at the beginning of the school day, kids have to put their hands over their hearts and say, I pledge allegiance to the flag, right? Well, here they have to salute the flag. And he's saying, no way, I am chief's son. So he says, well, salute the flag. If you don't, I'll have to whip you. And this is really a problem. I mean, the teacher, has got tears in her eyes. Corn Blossom is watching, and he refuses. So off he goes to get whipped. John, I've never whipped one of these children. Don't whip that boy. And he says, oh, you spoil them. You are too kind to them. I'm going to have discipline here. This makes white society look really, really terrible. Remember that this movie is very sympathetic to Native Americans. This movie is making a very, very strong social statement that white government interference was really a terrible thing for the natives. Okay, and here now he salutes the flag, and it's just heartbreaking the way that he was broken. And not only is it bad for the little guy, the chief's son, because now they're saying do atin. Do atin means whipped one. And there's do atin, hidoine. And she's right. She says, John, you've given him a name that's going to follow him throughout his life. This is a terrible thing that you've done, John. And so here she gives her engagement ring back to John and says, no, not going to marry you now. Love is greater than discipline. Until you realize love is greater, until you acknowledge that you have wronged this boy, we must go our separate ways. So you don't expect this from white women, really, of the time. Okay, the year of this movie is 1929. This particular scene in the story is set about 10 years earlier, around 1919. Well, remember that women were fighting for the right to vote in America. There were lots of women who were not just, oh, okay, I'll do whatever you say, just submissive types of people. There were a lot of women who were very strong and independent. And in 1920, women got the vote. So that was a major victory for women. More commonly, you would see a woman in a movie kind of turn her eye and not look at the bad thing that her boyfriend has done because, oh, he's my boyfriend and I shouldn't say anything. So in this movie, she does say something, and that's really very remarkable. And so, haha, loser, bye-bye. And Corn Blossom comes over and says, "Don't cry, everything's going to be okay." And that flag represents Uncle Sam, the U.S. He's going to take care of you and me. Yay. Look, just salute. It's okay, watch, just salute. Oh, she is really kind. And now we fast forward to about 10 years later, and we can see here is young Wingfoot honoring his flag, and here is Corn Blossom, who's now very pretty and carries books and wears nice clothing. And look at that winning smile. I just love this. She's so cute right there. And look, he's got friends. He's popular on the campus. These people here, they look Hispanic or Asian. I don't know. They're not typical white people. Anyway, next intertitle. Corn Blossom, I've got great news. I already know. You've won the scholarship at Thorpe. You're the first Indian to enter that college. He says, "Oh, you already know." And she says, "Yep. As soon as I heard your good news, I applied for a stenographer's job at Thorpe, and I got it." A stenographer was a woman who would listen to the bosses or the managers talk and then type everything that he says. This is before you had Siri. So this was an important kind of job way back when. Remember our childhood pledge. Nothing is ever going to separate us. So here we've got all the major cool things wrapped up very quickly. We've got, Doatin, has, and Corn Blossom have been well educated according to white American standards. And Doatin and Corn Blossom have established a very wonderful romance and very strong friendship relationship. He says, "I'll study medicine under the best men in the West, and I'll be on the track team. I'll be on the best track team in America. They've drafted me for that already." Interesting. He's going to study medicine, not engineering, not history of film. Serious about doing something to prevent the tragedy that happened to his mother from happening again in the future to the Navajo people. And she says, "Wingfoot, those legs of yours will carry you as far as you have the will to go. Gambate, gambate," is what she's saying right here. Okay, and so we go on, and we see this kind of Wateryatsu people, this, fat, stupid, racist guy, and his equally racist and stupid, white, cute girlfriend. She's getting all dreamy over, that Indian, that Navajo, but she uses the word Redskin. And that's the first time that we hear that. And Redskin is not a nice thing to say. It's not terrible, but it's just not nice. Anyway, so she says, "You must invite that Redskin to the dance tonight. He ought to be a new thrill in a ballroom. Like, wow, I bet he's never seen people in such a white civilization environment." And so, I love the way this guy looks like, well, why are you so interested in this, Navajo guy? That's making me uncomfortable. Okay, and so Wingfoot goes through, "Yay, come on, you Navajo." Now that's not a bad thing to say. She's being playful. And remember, she loves him. "Come on, you Navajo, yay." And guess what? Yay. He wins. And he wins this trophy. And this trophy is presented to us. This trophy is presented to you by us, the white men. You are a very good token of your race. Yay! Very patronizing. So, but here, he's a hero, and he thinks that, everybody is his friend. And, you would think that too. Meanwhile, Corn Blossom gets this terrible message by telegram. Your mother is dying. Come home immediately, Jim. This is Pueblo Jim. Okay. The guy that was Wingfoot's monitor in the early days. So look how cool the Wingfoot looks. He says, are you ready to go? What's the matter? No, I have to go home tonight. Look how serious he is here. You can't leave now. The whole school's waiting to honor you. Oh, please, just take me to the station. And she says, you can't leave now. The whole school's waiting to honor you. So he's thinking, I'll go back with you. And she says, no. Just take me to the station and you go on to the party. But you'll be home at the end of the term, dear, meaning at the end of the semester, and I will be waiting for you. Oh, I love you. Kiss, kiss. Right? Bye. And oh my God, this scene. Okay, now here's that, kind of water yatsu guy that we saw before, and his, stupid but pretty blonde girlfriend. And she says, where's my Redskin? And he gets really upset now. Hey, what's the idea? Getting all steamed up over an Indian. Now this is big talk here. When he says getting all steamed up, meaning, she's atsu, for this Redskin, this Indian guy. And that's really a threat to him. Are you, he's a stupid, white, chubby, insecure guy, and his girlfriend thinks that the Redskin Wingfoot is hot. And so here's a very interesting conflict. In America at the time, there were very strict laws about not marrying outside of your race. So there were laws in every state that said white people could not marry black people, or white people could not marry Native American, Indians, and so on. So the sexual tension between the white woman and the handsome, exotic Native American was a very, very taboo point in American culture. All right. Oh, you're here. Oh, it's great. Let's go. And she's complaining, oh, maybe there's something wrong with your leg. See, she touches his leg saying, you're not dancing right. But he's actually dancing right. And this guy doesn't like that she's touching his leg. And then, like an idiot, she's got to be drunk. Like an idiot, she says, oh, well, I have an idea. If you can't dance my way, I will dance your way. So white America had this image of the Indian dances, ooh, wah, 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 ooh, wah, 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 dancing up and down like that and doing wah, 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 like that. And everybody starts doing it. Look, everybody's doing it. And it's making fun of his culture. It's just the crappiest, most terrible thing that could happen. He's smiling, that kind of, like Japanese would, that that embarrassed smile. But he's offended by this. And he says, okay, come on, I'll dance better. And he's not happy that his girlfriend is getting such attention. Meanwhile, these other people, they're just stupid, acting like, Indians and, Finally, stupid chubby guy comes and throws his girlfriend to the floor. Whack. And says, hey, you. I bet on you today just as I'd bet on a horse. And what he means by that is, you are the same as an animal. You're not a real man. I bet on you the same as I'd bet on a horse. Now, I'll share my winnings with you, but I'm not going to share my woman with you. I'm willing to divide my winnings, but I won't divide anything else. I will not share this woman with you. And so here, Wingfoot decides, oh, that's enough. I'm going to punch. And the guys hold him, and the white guy gets the punch in. And this girl acts like an idiot. Like, she's excited but scared all at the same time. Look at her. No, I don't know what her problem is. And then finally, this other guy in the middle jumps in and he says, why, if we hadn't needed you on the track team, you wouldn't even be tolerated around here. So note the use of the word tolerate. That is going to be mentioned again later on, all right? But this is a very harsh realization for him. He understands finally, look at his face, he understands finally that he is not equal. He is not equal to all these other people. He's a man and they are men, and all men are supposed to be equal, but he's never going to fit into the white world. He could wear a tuxedo if he wants, but it's not going to make any difference. Okay, last scene before we take a break. His only friend comes by and says, hey, don't worry about those guys. He says, I just want to say that those fellows aren't the whole school. Meaning, not everybody, feels, like you're a bad guy. Not everybody is racist. But then he says something so stupid. He says, and you sure acted white for a redskin. I mean, that's just, what a stupid thing for this guy to say. And Wingfoot here, this is one of his only friends. So Wingfoot doesn't get angry, but he says, look, after what I saw tonight, I'm proud to be a redskin. And that means all these white people, they think that they are, the top of civilization, but they acted so badly. They are down here. Native Americans, Indians, are not low culture people. They're not savages. They're not uncivilized. They are up here. Based on what I saw, the white people are down here. Redskin, Indians, Native Americans are really good people. My mistake was in thinking I ever had a chance among you whites. So, yeah, that's exactly what that is definitely his mistake. I'm going to go back to my own people where I belong. So, here's Wingfoot. He's going to throw away this college scholarship. He's not going to finish university. And he decides that he's going to go back to his own people. All right, let's take a break now. We'll come back later.